Okay, it's time to get started on the water. I'm going to mix in a little bit of liquid. So again, it's more of a glaze, I suppose. The initial sort of bit. So the water in the photograph is a little bit darker than what it's reflecting above. So just sort of bear that in mind. But like we do with the trees, when we do that initial darker glaze with the stipple, it's the same idea with the reflection in the water. You're doing that sort of darker glaze again, but obviously not stippling it. It's more of a downward stroke. Just making sure I fill in all the little areas where the block-in hasn't covered the panel. So we're getting there with the water now. It's obviously not quite finished. There's still more to do, but with the highlights that I've put on, I've put those straight over the top of that darker glaze that I did. So it's just another glaze over the top, and I didn't wait for that glaze to dry, so that was all done wet. The only bit that was dry was that original acrylic blocking in stage. So from there on, it's all been wet on wet, but it's a glaze, so it's very, very thin layers, and it makes it more workable. If I was to put that on, you know, with thicker paint and less liquid, it wouldn't, that upper layer wouldn't have gone on quite so well. So it's just a very thin glaze, and because of that, it's given you the glassy look that we've got there. Once again, I used this brush for pretty much all of it. So it's just, I'll show you what it would have originally looked like. That was what it looked like when it was new. And that is just, well, it's just really worn. It's been used for blocking in and God knows what for a year or more. So what I've done is, I don't know whether you noticed, I did a sort of more of a sort of like a J shape, just the end of the tail. The ones nearer the waterline here were just smaller, almost like a little bit of a dab, and the brush strokes became a bit longer further down. But as you can see, I've put in various different colours. I haven't kept it all the same. It's different shades of green, and you can see in there's some browns and things like that. And now I'm just going to put a nice line of blue across the edge there, just so that you can see that waterline a bit better. So let's get that. Just mix a bit of titanium white and a bit of that blue there. It doesn't have to be too light. And also, I'm not going to add any medium to it. There's enough medium on the panel for now. So move that out of the way, and we bring this in. This ruler here. So I'm going to go right from this edge and right across there. So with the reflection of the sky, we do that in a slightly different way. We're not going to do that, we're not going to do a glaze there. I'm just, because you want it to be, you want it to have, you want it to be opaque. You don't need to see anything through there, so you're just going to get that nice and solid, that colour there. So we'll leave a little bit of a hint of the reflection in there. Of the, sorry, the cloud reflection in there, I should say. And also, I don't think it hurts for the sky to be a little bit darker than or the reflection of the sky to be a little bit darker than the actual sky. In fact, I don't know why. I suppose it's when the river's a bit deeper, it's a bit darker. I don't really know. So something like that doesn't need to be any more precise than that, really. And then what I'll do, if I can find the right brush, I shall just give that a bit of a blend. Now I know that in the photograph you don't actually have these little white little blips in the water. but I really do think it looks good when you do it. You only need the tiniest little dot. That's all you need, and just, you know, sort of a random over the sky as well. I don't know why, but it certainly does help it to look real. I've always done it. I think it just helps give you that sort of feeling of movement. Although that said, you do tend to, I think it's pretty rare that you get no ripples or little blips on the water, just because I can't see them in this photograph. It's not the most detailed of photographs anyway, but I bet you if you were actually standing there, by the river's edge, you'd see tiny little blips. One thing you probably could do, which might be worthwhile, actually, is to put a few more obvious areas where there are ripples, so more of a, like I've done there, put in a few bits like that. Right, I think we're ready now to do these reeds, and then that's it, job done. Game over.